in India, and that's where my accent is from. I speak fast, I'm very passionate about what I speak, so you may not follow me right away. If you don't understand me at any given point, just stop me, interrupt me, and I'll repeat it. Unfortunately, in the same accent. Okay, good. So I have some door prizes, so you might enjoy 30-day total business makeover, so that's one of them. And here is, you like to go to networking, so one of my friends, Bob Berg, he wrote a book on networking as well. And so I interviewed him, so his tips are there on the networking. And then we all know next Saturday is what? Valentine's Day, great. So how many of you would like to make sure you give a good gift, a planned, thorough gift to the person that you really care about? And that's the reason I have a simple short booklet called The Secret to Rich and Rewarding Relationships at Work and Home. Anyway, I just pass this out, just fill this out information and then hand it to me, so that what we will do is we'll just do a drawing at the end. Okay? Fantastic. If somebody's missing something, let me know. I just pass out in the back as well. You have one here? Okay, very good. Now, before I start, I always like to give a little bit about my background, because some people would like to know, okay, what qualifies Minesh to actually talk about this topic. Now, I already told you I was brought up in India, and most of you might know that India is considered a third world country, politically correct. It's called developing nation, whichever way you want to look at it. It's a growing economy from all perspectives. It has about 1.2 billion people. And I grew up with a family where we were 5 children. My parents worked hard. My father brought in the income. My mother was the washing machine and cook and everything else that you can think about, right?
Right.
And that's what my mother did. I was number 4 out of 5 children, and we grew up, at that time we didn't know poor, because everybody around was poor, right? Okay, you can imagine, if you don't have a TV, a fridge, a car, in US you would consider that person poor. Would you all agree with me on that, right? Okay, and on the other side is, in my opinion, we were happy, because we didn't even know any different. We didn't have a TV program called Kim Kardashians. So we didn't have our life to compare with somebody else, right? Somebody, people just watch this woman and they pay her so she can have the lifestyle she wants. I don't understand that. I don't know why people watch that. Maybe some of you do. Please don't hold that against me, okay? I don't watch live TV. To me, it's of total no use to me. But where I'm coming from is, we had 1 bicycle among 7 people in the family. Now, I'm not talking about motorcycle, I'm talking about bicycle, right? A pedaling bicycle. Now, would you all consider that person to not really have a lot of things, like luxurious things in life, right? Okay, my children buy toys which were more expensive than the things I bought for necessity in my lifetime, right, at that time. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this is, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who you are and where you are. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, where do you want to go? Because a lot of people in this culture today have fallen into what I would call victim mentality. I was sitting and doing a presentation like this at Marygrove College, and I was selling a program which was very inexpensive. And so this gentleman looked pretty much in good shape, in my opinion. And I said, okay, you can sign up for that program. You said you need to help in this area. Yeah, sure, great, fantastic. And he said, no, I'm on disability. And I'm looking at him. It's like, you drove from your home to this place, and you are claiming disability. Why? Because it's easy to fall into victim classification. It's easy to fall into, I can't do it, oh, it's better for me to not try something. And I do talk to some people about business, and they say, oh, will I have to get off my unemployment? Will I have to get off my social security benefits? And I'm like, how big is your dream? How big is your dream? If your dream is not big enough, you can't start a business. You can't start a business. It's that simple. Okay? Now, some of you may not like what I say. I'm not politically correct. I'm going to be very straight with you on that. Because to me, if you are somebody who really wants to improve your life, the only way really to control your life is to be on your own business. I mean, that's just really the fact of it. Like Thursday, for a while my children had been saying, hey, we want to go to IHOP. Now, IHOP is not a really fancy place for me. It's not something that has that much attraction to. But while we were driving and coming back from Florida, we spent 3 days, just going to Universal Studios every day, getting up in the morning and doing all those fun stuff. And so they saw IHOP and was like, oh, house of pancakes. I like pancakes, so these were little pancake place. So in the morning on Thursday, I took my wife, my son came along, and we had breakfast. And now, most people don't have that luxury. Why? Because they don't control their own time. And I was just like you or anybody who's looking to start your own business. I did what most people recommend, which is what? Go to school, get a good degree, and you're set for life. How many of you heard that before? I don't know why people still fall for that, but there are tons of people falling for that. They come out of school and college with this huge loan and with this little income to pay off the loan, right?
And no job.
And no job quite often, right? I mean, I have a friend. His daughter graduated from Grand Rapids area in the degree that she wanted, zoology. She found the job of her dreams, working at a zoo, $8 an hour. Okay? Now tell me about that. Now, how does that make any sense to you, right? Now we live in my opinion so far, the freest country in the world, and the reason we are most free is because we have the opportunity for free enterprise. Now I know free enterprise has got a lot of beating recently in the media, which makes no sense to me because the only way to improve somebody's life is free enterprise. That's the only thing. Because all you need is an idea and a willingness to work hard. How many of you here have an idea and a willingness to work hard? That's all you need. In other countries where they don't have that structure, you need somebody's permission to do something, which I'm not a big fan of. Why do you need somebody's permission to help somebody? So what is business first of all? Let's just get that clearly out of the way. A business is very simple. You and I provide a product or a service to somebody else at a fee, which improves their situation and obviously improves our situation. You see how that works? Mm-hmm. If it doesn't fit that, it's not a business. It's a Ponzi scheme or something else, right? Okay, it's not a business. And to me, and obviously I hope to you, you realize that if you are helping somebody and their situation improves and you get the benefit of making money from it, that should be a good thing. Would you all agree with me on that?
Yes.
I have a friend who's very successful. He made $6 million last year, so he's okay, right?
Right.
And he has helped 89 people in his training and coaching program, specific in the mortgage and real estate business, to either accumulate $1 million or make $1 million a year in their business. Now, how many of you think he's getting paid for helping other people do better?
Yeah.
So if you do something that improves people's life, that is business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I didn't understand all of that while I was growing up in India because what? Go to school, get a good education and a job, right? That's all I knew, right? And when I came to US, I understood a little bit more about business, and I wanted to be on my own. And I did computer programming. I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering and a master's in systems engineering. All that means is I'm a certified geek, right? But I was frustrated at my job. I didn't want to sit at a cubicle 8 hours a day or whatever. And I didn't want to have that for the rest of my life. I wanted more freedom for myself. How many of you would like more freedom, right? Exactly. So I kept looking for stuff. I did a number of different things, but never really succeeded at it. And at one point, I found out that my company didn't want me anymore. How many of you have had that happen to you, right? Okay. At that time, it was, okay, what do I do? Now, I hated my job anyway, right? So it was one of those places where I'm glad they got rid of me because I was forced to look for other options. I still applied for jobs because I needed a source of income, right? You know how many of you like, and the situation I was in, because I was independent contractor, I couldn't even get unemployment, right? Okay. I did find a job in Tucson, Arizona, and I flew down there. It was January of 2000, and it was 80 degrees. And this was nice. Except we couldn't leave Michigan at that time, my wife and I, for whatever reasons. I was like, and again I said to myself, yeah, I will move there, but what's going to really change? It's still going to be a job. It's still going to be stuff that I don't want to do. In a few months, I'm going to feel the same miserable despite the location. Would you all agree with me on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, some of us have changed jobs only to find out we don't like it anyways. And at that time, I had to decide, do I really want to be on my own or look for a job? I had had it with jobs, so I'm done. I want to be on my own. Now, was it easy? No. But here was the best part for me. I was smart enough to know that I didn't know enough. Okay, let me repeat that. I was smart enough to know that I didn't know enough. Because one of the biggest failures for you in life is going to be being ignorant and arrogant. It's pretty easy to do that. Now you are here, which means you are obviously not belonging to that category. Would I be right in saying that, right? The ignorant, arrogant people are watching TV or doing something else, right? They're not here trying to get better. But I was in that position at one time. But anyway, luckily enough, I did, no, my time is not up yet. So anyway, I went to California, attended a 3-day program, hired a coach, and started learning about having my own seminar and coaching business. At that time, they said, hey, Minesh, you need to write a book. I didn't have a clue how to write a book, but I said, hey, I think I can. So I started writing a book called How to Change Your Career Before Your Career Changes You. I liked the topic. 35 pages later, I didn't have a clue what to do next. I didn't have an idea about marketing, promotion, finishing, publishing, nothing else. I dropped the project. A year and a half later, I started another project, and I started writing a book called Stop Stopping, Start Starting. Sounds like a great idea. The unfortunate part is I stopped. So here is a motivational speaker, and you can do it! And I stopped. Okay? And thanks, Ike, for coming. I appreciate it. In the middle of my speech, come on, Ike. Ike is a good friend of mine. And so that's what the situation was. Okay? And I realized at that time I could not complete it on my own. That is the smartest decision you can make, is to reach a point to say, I have a big goal and I know I can't accomplish it on my own. The moment you reach that, you look for help. You find somebody who can help you. So at that time, I said, I need somebody to help me write and publish a book. So over the course of the next 2 years, invested roughly about $12,000 in training and coaching and understanding how to write and publish my own book. So the first book I authored with my friend Chuck Gifford, who started Local Business Network in this area, and and I completed the book called Network Your Way to $100,000 and Beyond. It took us about 2 years because obviously we have full-time careers, and writing a book, which is the first time we are doing it, took us that long. The second book I wrote is called Stop Hiring Losers. Took me 45 days. What do you think changed from 2 years to 45 days? What do you think was changing? Experience, good. What else?
Motivation.
Motivation, that's good. I had a conference to attend, and I wanted to have my book for the conference. Good point, Berlin. But also I had the skill down, right? If you are focused on, say, running, and you run the first marathon, you have some skills to run the next marathon, right? You understand it's not going to be as difficult because you already did it once. Which is why what I do is, I'm a business and financial coach. As a business coach, my job is very simple. How to make your job of reaching your business goals faster, easier. Just the other day, I was sitting down with a lady on Wednesday. She's starting her own business. She found me on Facebook, and she had heard about me already mentioned in another book that she was reading. She says, oh, listen, I know him on Facebook. He's not far from me. Let me find out. So we sat down, and I helped her start a plan for getting her business off the ground. Because if she tries on her own, then she has no prior business experience. Do you think she's going to suffer from difficulties? Yeah, she doesn't know where to go, right? And because I've done this for a while, I've done it for over 10 years, and I've helped enough people, and I've learned from enough people who are successful. Like I said, the guy who makes $6 million a year knows a lot more about success in business than I do, okay? At the same time, it's easy for us to fall in the mode of, which I feel a lot of people do, is let me figure it out on my own. If I don't find a way, then I will find somebody. It's like, by that time, you have lost money, you lost time, and basically lost a lot of energy, motivation, because you hit the wall so many times, you didn't know where to go. Okay, it's like, if I was, just as an example, I was, let's say, overweight by a certain number of pounds for the last decade, let us say, okay? And I'm like, oh, this time I'll do it. It's like, what's going to change? Not a whole lot, right? So I would be better off finding somebody who has done it before, or has helped other people do that in order for me to be succeeding in my venture. Would you all agree with me on that, right? If I had a personal trainer, are my chances of losing weight much better than if I don't? Absolutely. So the question becomes, who is your career coach, who is your business coach, who is your financial coach? A little bit side on the financial side of it. Now, like most people, I got into the habit of making money and spending more than I made. Anybody else guilty of that? You don't have to raise hands, you know? Okay, and I was enjoying life. I was 6 months in Michigan, 6 months in Florida, and the market crashed and a few other things happened, and it's like, wow, you know, things can change. And I found out that my financial plan wasn't in place. Why? Because I got advice from here, did something here, did something there. I didn't really have a plan in place. And that's one of the reasons I want to sit down with anyone and every one of you, if you're open to it, obviously, to help you create a plan at a cost you can't complain about, called free. Okay? Why? Because if you don't have a plan, how far will you go? Not too far. Okay? And I was sitting down with a lady, she's 44 years old, her company moved, so she had to move her 401k into an IRA. She went to a bank and put the money in an IRA. And then I was looking at the situation because I didn't have the question as well. I said, hey, you know, there are better options right now. And here are the stats, compare the two, so you can find out, obviously, what I'm saying makes sense. Like a JD Power's rating, if you have a car which is not really highly rated by JD Power and the other car is, chances are, you know, obviously that hopefully is the right one. And she was, her eyes had a glazed look, and I'm like, why is she confused? She said, my money's in the bank. I'm like, lady, you don't understand this. Your money is in mutual funds, not in the bank checking account. It's not guaranteed. I said, no, it's not guaranteed. She said, well, the guy didn't tell me. I don't know why. I don't have a reason to understand that. So here I'm explaining to somebody who's 44 years old the difference between a checking account and a mutual fund account. I mean, I know, and I'm not saying that to, you know, berate her or, you know, anything like that. But the reality is what? Most people don't have a financial education. They just don't. I mean, most people, the statistics are pretty strong. About 95% people will not be able to retire on their own. Now they'll work for 40, 50 years, but they still won't be able to retire. Thursday I was sitting down with two different ladies, both in their 60s, no money. How many of you think that's not a good place to be, right? Okay, so the question you and I should ask is, am I doing anything different than those 95 people? If the answer is no, better do something today, right? And I realized I had been ignorant and arrogant when it comes to money. I just was not willing to pay attention. Now the process is not very difficult, but if you don't do what is right, does it really make a difference whether you know or not, right? It's like, if you know you should eat right and exercise, but you choose not to do any of those, is it going to make any difference whether you know or not know, right? What is the biggest gap in the world? The gap between knowledge and action. It's like, I know. It's like, so what difference is it making in your life? Not much. Well, then you better change something, right? And that's what I have desired as a coach, as a business and financial coach. I want people to take action. I want people to do something different than what they did before if it was not already working. Now, how many here want to really see an improvement in your life? Great. So the only thing is take action, just like today, right? You took some action. You could have chosen to do any different things today. I don't know what those would be, but obviously I'm sure you have something that you could have done different, right? Okay, you could have slept in, exactly, right? Or you could be hanging out with your family, maybe going to a restaurant to eat, maybe, you know, watching a certain show, maybe skiing if you like that, or because this is not the golfing season, so you might have something else, you might do whatever else you want to do, right? Nothing productive, but you chose to be here. Now, if you can make those kind of decisions on a daily basis to take that little action, but consistently towards the direction you want to go into, don't you think your life will be a lot better off in a few months, few years? Right? Okay? And that's the reason I feel so strongly about Luther. I mean, Luther is a phenomenal guy. And I sat down with him for a cup of coffee one time, and also have interacted with him a few different times. All he did was he said, hey, there is a need here in the marketplace. And I don't care about charging anything. I'm just going to get a location where we can have some people come and talk, give some ideas for people who are looking for good information. Now, how long have you been doing this now, Luther?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. Now, don't you think he deserves a round of applause for that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm here for the very simple reason is there are people like Luther out there with the desire to help other people. That's all it is. And I really, really respect that. Now, he's touching your lives in whatever small manner he can today. Maybe you get inspired, do certain things in your life, and it will inspire some other people. The only thing you have to do to really help people, this is the part you really have to get into your mind. You really have to get understanding of this. The only thing that you have to do is to inspire yourself to live your dreams. That's it. Okay? As long as your dream is not to kill people, hold people hostage, burn them alive, that kind of stuff. Okay? If your dreams are towards the direction of helping other people, making your life better, okay, making an improvement. If you live your dreams, you will inspire somebody else to live your dreams. It was interesting, my friend Terry Bean is having an event in Detroit called 313D Love, and last year I was one of the speakers there. And he said something which I'd never heard him say before. Before he brought me onto stage, he said, this person that I'm going to bring up doesn't even know about this. I said, okay, what's he going to talk about? He said, when I heard him speak, it inspired me to be also a speaker. All I did was I'm being who I am. I'm doing what I want. But it's inspiring other people to see their dream in what I'm doing. Okay, like the dream that I have this year, which is my main focus, is to take January to March, live in Florida, and spend 90 days there with my children. I have a 7-year-old and 11-year-old daughter, 7-year-old son. And pretty much every day, put in some hours of work or whatever I need to. My children are homeschooled. And then go to Disney, Universal, or one of those places. Almost every day. How many of you think my children would love that? That's my dream right now this year. That's all I want to do. This year my focus is do that. Do you think if I did that, it should inspire some other parents to do something? It might inspire some other business person to do something? Why? It's not for me in terms of bragging. It's just more about if I do what I want to do and I'm helping other people, doesn't it make sense that somebody else will look and say, gosh, I want to have that as well? That's the key. That's the key. If you have that dream, that desire, being a business owner, and if you already are one, great. If you're not yet, I heard a couple of people say, hey, I want to have one of my business. Great, sit down with me and let me at least help you, give you some input. At no cost to you, so it can't be very expensive, right? Okay, I'm going to ask you to buy me a coffee. I'm just kidding. I'm sure I can pay for that. But the point I'm really trying to drive home for you is, as a business owner, you are trying to create your own life to be better, inspire yourself to take action, and then consequently you're inspiring other people to take action. That's the only thing that's important is you help other people get what they want, and you can get what you want. My in-laws own a Chinese restaurant. They've owned it for over 40 years in Troy, called Kim's Chinese Restaurant. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Long Lake and Illinois. Exactly. My sister-in-law works 10 to 10, 7 days a week, okay? She has been doing this for 15 years with no vacation that I've seen, okay? And she's just unbelievable business person. She was recognized as the business person of the year as a citizen community in Troy, because she's helping other people improve their lives. She provides employment for the people who are there. People come there, they love the food, and they love the environment, the ambience that they provide. So the question is, what is your dream and how serious are you about achieving your dream? Okay? If you are not serious about achieving your dream, nobody's going to come and say, hey, let me help you achieve your dream. Why? Because you want to do what you need to do. Like if I want to lose weight, can I just pay somebody money and say, hey, lose weight for me? That is not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen, right? If I'm not willing to take action, what's going to be happening? Nothing. So that is why the first action you can take is fill out that form and give it to me so I can give out a door prize. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you a minute. If you have any questions on that, in fact, let me just walk you through. Pretty easy to say. I have a booklet called Top 10 Blunders Business Owners Make, which